like that in this day and age, and it's wonderful to be back with the Marine Corps again. Glad you honored Tarawa. Tarawa was the island that the Marines won their first presidential unit citation. They went on to the next one. That was the 2nd Division, and the 2nd Division went on into Saipan to win the 2nd presidential citation. I joined the Corps just after Tarawa and had the great privilege of going back there some years later and dedicating Tarawa to the preaching of the gospel. So I've had an opportunity, and where did I choose to dedicate the land? I went to Red Beach, where the emplacement of the Japanese artillery, where so many lost their lives, and there I had the opportunity of dedicating the land for the gospel to return. Now, how did I get in the Marine Corps? That's an interesting subject. I've had the opportunity of being on a mission at the time the war broke out, or just as it happened. And I was deferred during the war and had the opportunity of serving full-time in the mission field. When I returned home, I had a month before I was on my way to Fort Douglas to be sworn in. I had a great missionary companion that we enjoyed 10 months together. We decided before we left that we'd go home and join the Navy, and maybe we'd have a chance of being together. Well, I volunteered for the Navy. As we were standing there to be sworn in, I looked at those Navy uniforms. I looked down at my long legs. Those belt-on trousers were just not a match. Just then, a sharp-looking Marine, dressed in his boots, came in and said, "I need 3 volunteers." I jumped forward, and I was in the Marine Corps. One of the best decisions I ever made in my life. So I've had that great opportunity. Now you wanted me to talk about something about what the Marine Corps has done for me. I'm pleased to talk about that subject because I think 2 things shaped my life. First was serving a full-time mission, and second was having the opportunity of going directly into the Marine Corps. Something happened. In a mission, you were walking a lot, doing a lot of talking. In the Marine Corps, we did very little talking as we went forward. What did it give to me? It gave me self-control. I never thought I could do some of the things that was required in boot camp. And you know, it was a real test for me. I found out that between my men to do some of the things that were required during that very difficult period in boot camp. It was a great experience, and I came out of the boot camp feeling very much alive and full of life and full of vigor. I think that's where I developed a desire to be enthusiastic all the time. Because everything that happened in the boot camp, you try to be the best. You try to outrun everyone and do everything you could the best way possible. So the first thing I learned in the Marine Corps, I think, was the power to overcome my mind, overcome my body, and I was able to force my body into doing things I never thought I'd be able to do. The next thing I found out in the Marine Corps was the friendships that I developed. It was wonderful to have that close association with the friendships established while I was in the Corps. We were assigned after boot camp to an artillery outfit, a pack howitzer. Any of you have been acquainted with a pack howitzer? I guess you don't use those anymore. It was a 6-man crew. 4 of them would have a bar through the barrel that you'd have to carry up the hill that weighed a ton. Two of them were assigned to the carriage to pull it up to place the cannon on top of it for firing. So, you know, it was always interesting. No one wanted to be on the part of carrying the carriage up. Everyone wanted to have the rod and carry the heavy load up the hill. We used to fight for it, so we'd get a chance to be the ones that had that rod under our arms as we tried to go up the side of the embankment. You found a friendship there, and a loyalty, and a spirit that you never find any other place. Now, I was very fortunate. That missionary companion that we decided to go in the Navy, the first Sunday in boot camp, I walked into church service. Who sat there but my missionary companion? He decided to join the Marine Corps too. And we had a great experience for, I guess, the next almost 3 years of being together almost constantly. Oh, we were changed around on assignments. After artillery, I was moved into the signal, and taught how to climb telephone poles and do the things that signal people do. And he went to a different one. But when we were staging for the invasion of Saipan, our ship arrived on a Sunday morning, and as we disembarked to go ashore on Anahuita, who was coming down the street but my missionary companion with about 6 other men. And of course I fell in line and we went to church. We were together continually for that time. So I developed a great friendship. We had a great opportunity of serving together and came home on the same ship together after it was over. The Marine Corps gave me an opportunity for experience. When we arrived on Saipan, they changed my spec number, put me in personnel classification, and I had an office job. I don't know how that happened. I guess it was because I did so exceptionally well on the typewriter. I don't know what happened that day that I was taking the test, but in school I'd gone at the rate of 14 words a minute. I was outstanding. When I took the test in the Marine Corps, I did 45 words a minute. Now, I don't know how that happened, but it happened. So I had the opportunity then of learning office discipline. I think that office discipline has served me very well as I've gone through life, because I used the specialty that I was given there to use as I've gone forward in my business career. Next, I think it taught me compassion. When we arrived in Nagasaki and pulled into the harbor, I'll never forget the experience of being on that transport as we came in the harbor. The stench was overwhelming. Even though we're in the harbor, we could smell the dead. Because the office crew had to go aboard first, we had the opportunity of getting in the first landing craft that went ashore on Nagasaki. The people were devastated. I never want to see that again after an atomic bomb had dropped on that city. We were picking up little urchins all of the time, raiding our garbage can at night, trying to get something to eat. We had great compassion for those that had been fighting. It wasn't the Japanese people, certainly were not fighting. It was the warlords. And those kind Japanese people, as we'd find those little guys, their entire family had been wiped out by the bomb, and they were living in the dread fear that they would be radioactive. We would take them in, and when we had more than we could handle with what we were saving from our mess, feeding them, we decided to establish an orphanage. And the Marines donated and got a group of nuns that were then exiled during the war to set up an orphanage. We had the opportunity of taking those little guys over there and getting them established in an orphanage. Christmas came. We know that by the numbers we had that we'd be going home soon. So we sent letters to our families and said, send toys. I think they thought we were crazy, but they sent toys in great numbers. We wrapped them in anything we could wrap them. Went out and cut down a Christmas tree. And Christmas morning, we gave Christmas for those Japanese children for the first time. You can't imagine the look on their faces as they came and found a toy they hadn't seen in years. They'd prepared a song for us in English. It wasn't a Christmas carol because they didn't know any of them. But I guess they'd picked up from Tokyo Rose or somebody the song, You Are My Sunshine. And they sang that to us that morning in English. So we learned great compassion while we were there. In Nagasaki, we felt so much the results of the war for that devastated city. We decided we wanted to do something. So we decided that we'd rebuild 2 Protestant churches that had been devastated by the bomb. And after our days was over in the office, we went over and got supplies and rebuilt 2 chapels and had congregations of Christian-speaking people for the first time to attend a church service in the many years of war that had been there. And I had the opportunity in that first church service to use my first experience using side-by-side translation as I talked to that group of Christians that we had established the church for them again. That group became very friendly to us as we helped them along. When we left, when our number was finally up, we were going by train up to Sasebo to board ship to come home. Some of the Marines, of course, as they do, had girlfriends there in large numbers. Were saying goodbye to their girlfriends as they left to go on the train north. They were sort of ridiculing us, saying you'd wasted your time while you've been in Japan. Here you have no one to say goodbye to you. Just as with the ridicule reached fever pitch, over the hill came 200 of this congregation that we had established in the church, singing Onward Christian Soldiers. They came down and just showered us with gifts. Not great gifts, little pearls that they'd saved, bookmarks that they'd won in school that they'd received an honor for, little things like that, that they, when we got aboard train, they lined up along the side of the track. We just stuck out our fingers and they just touched our fingers as the train picked up and left. It was something I'll never forget. You develop a great love for your country. You do not stand on foreign soil and see Old Glory raised on an island in the Pacific after it's been secured without great appreciation for these United States of America. I keep 2 little vials on my desk of sand. One is from Iwo Jima. The second is from Saipan. And everyone that comes in my office, I tell them, we are the greatest generation. We went to battle, came home, and built America to make it the strongest nation on earth. And I preach to them about the greatest generation of the service that we performed while we were part of the force that saved America and saved the world. And I think that's what you are today. You're part of that great force. So diligent, so faithful, so anxious. You learn a power in the Marine Corps that I think stays with you. It's the only organization I know of that greets you the same way all over the world. I've had people come up, people I had never known before, and now hands outstretched, Semper Fi. And that's the way it is with the Marine Corps. We're part of a team and part of an organization. And once you've been in it, you'll never forget it. Now we live in a divided country today. It needs the loyalty, the spirit, the vitality, the excitement that a branch like the United States Marine Corps should bring to this great nation. God bless you that you may understand who you are, that the power you have to shape a nation who is desperately in need of a coalition, of bringing together, to be again united, to be the one great anchor in this troubled world of ours, to bring peace and security to our fellow man. May the Lord bless you in all of your service as you go forward. It's my humble prayer to you tonight. Thank you very much for the opportunity of being with you.